Hello there, Supatyeva, dear friends of the Dhamma. Welcome back to the Dhamma school, the Dhamma of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha. In our last lesson, we have talked about the 10 unwholesome actions, triple immoral conduct. Kaya Sankara, Vachi Sankara, and Mano Sankara. What is the root cause for all these unwholesome actions? Raga, dosa, and moha. 3 sun causes. In Magadhi called akusala mulan, the root of impurity or the root of unwholesome. So today let's talk about the mechanism, how the 3 sun causes get triggered in our mind. Already we have explained that every individual carries his own accumulation of past corrupted experiences in Magadhi called asava. Asava. So every individual carries his own corrupted database. Practically, every individual is a slave of his own asava. Because when a form, in Magadhi called rupa, visual form, auditory form, olfactory form, gustatory form, tactile form, or an ideational form. When a form comes into contact with appropriate sense organ, there triggers an automated appraisal between the incoming form and our past corrupted experiences called asava. If this appraisal occurs between the extreme of pleasure and displeasure, then this appraisal is known as moha, the arising of moha. So, moha can be defined as distorted appraisal or simply wrong comparison between the extreme of pleasure and displeasure respect to asava. With the arising of moha, our mind gets deluded. Then, if a deluded mind runs to an extreme of pleasure, it is called the arising of raga. In similar manner, if a deluded mind runs to an extreme of displeasure, it is called the arising of dosa. Now it becomes obvious that our mind does engage in 2 kinds of performances. The first performance is called manomaya kaya. Kaya means action. Mana means mind. Manomaya means mind-made. Then manomaya kaya means mind-made actions, or actions governed by mind. The arising of moha is a mind-made action. Manomaya kaya, cognitive reality, cognitive sphere. It is the first performance of the mind. The second performance of the mind is called chittaja kaya, chittaja actions. What is the duty of chitta? Chitta releases judgments or intentions, in Magadhi called chetana. Chetana. So, Chittajakaya means emotional actions, emotional sphere, emotional reality. It is the second performance of the mind. Cognitive reality and emotional reality. Manomayakaya and Chittajakaya. Chitta is the intermediator between our body and mind. Therefore, Buddha proclaimed Tijakaya, 3 actions. Physical part, physical actions, corporeality is called Karajakaya, corporeality. Manomayakaya, cognitive reality, cognitive actions. And Chittajakaya, emotional actions, emotional reality. Chitta works for all 6 sense organs. And Chitta is the common platform for communication between senses and cognitive reality, mind. So, Tijakaya is another explanation of all our physical and psychological actions. Corporeality, cognitive reality, and emotional reality. A computer would be a good analogy to explain 3 actions. Hardware part of the computer is similar to Karajakaya, corporeality. RAM memory of the computer is similar to emotional sphere, emotional reality. And memory in the hard disk or operating system is similar to cognitive reality, Manomayakaya. All right. So let's suppose that we are able to catch a thought. For example, a dosa. So it looks like dosa. The arising of dosa is chittaja action, emotional action. But if we analyze attentively dosa, the root of dosa is moha. The arising of moha is cognitive action, manomayakaya. All right. Now let's have a look at what happens with the arising of sankhara mind, with the arising of sankhara mind. When a form comes into contact with appropriate sense organ, first of all, our perception gets corrupted. In Magadhi, it is called sanya vipallasa, distortions of perception. And simultaneously, with the arising of distorted perception, our view, our understanding gets corrupted. Erroneous belief system is activated. In Magadhi, it is called ditti vipallasa, distortions of view or understanding. And simultaneously, grasping of the five aggregates occurs. The notion of egocentric I, in Magadhi called Manyamano, is formed. The arising of these three conditions is called moha, the arising of moha. Moha leads to intense delusion. The 10th unwholesome action has occurred. Distortions of cognitive sphere. Now, distorted cognition pollutes our emotional sphere. Deluded mind pollutes Chitta. In Magadhi it is called Chitta Vipallasa, distortions of Chitta. If a deluded mind runs to an extreme of pleasure, it is called the arising of raga. Raga leads to intense passion. The 8th unwholesome action has occurred. In similar manner, if a deluded mind runs to an extreme of displeasure, it is called the arising of dosa. Dosa leads to intense mental discord. The 9th unwholesome action has occurred. So, deluded mind, polluted Chitta. Mind is the forerunner for intentions. In Dhammapada, there is a famous verse. Seriously, the first verse of the Dhammapada. Mano pubbangama dhamma mano setta manomaya manasa che paduttena bahasativa karotiva. Mind is the forerunner for intentions. Mind is the greater. Mind made Adi. Deluded mind pollutes Chitta. Deluded mind and polluted Chitta corrupt word and deed. With the arising of raga, dosa and moha, we get inclined to commit 4 verbal unwholesome actions and 3 physical unwholesome actions. With the arising of raga, dosa and moha, we engage in 10 unwholesome actions. What is the consequence of engaging with 10 unwholesome actions? It is called dukkha. Dukkha follows one as well as the wheel of the cart follows the ox. Manasa, manomaya kaya, cognitive reality. Che, chetana or chitta, emotional reality. Chittaja kaya, word and deed. So, mind, chitta, word and deed. All right. So now we have got a better idea about 10 unwholesome actions. Triple immoral conduct. Kaya sankara, Vachi Sankara, and Mano Sankara. If we want to liberate from 10 unwholesome actions, if we want to liberate from triple immoral conduct, if we want to liberate from this distorted mechanism called Kamma Chakra, the wheel of Kamma, it is obvious that we have to purify our distorted cognitive process. Therefore, modern day and even before the Buddha, people practiced Samatho Bhavana, Samatho techniques. There are a lot of Samatho techniques. Samatho means to tranquilize or calming down the mind. By practicing Samatho techniques, Raga and Dosa can be tranquilized. In Magadhi, it is called Chetu Vimutti, liberation based on purification of Chitta. Seriously, it is not a purification, but it's a provisional, full evacuation of the emotional sphere. In practice, it's a provisional emptiness of the emotional sphere. Therefore, Cheto Vimutti, in general known as dhyanas, transcendental mental states. Cheto Vimutti can't purify our distorted cognitive process. Cheto Vimutti can't eradicate our past corrupted experiences called asava. Therefore, Cheto Vimutti is not a permanent solution. Therefore, the Buddha introduced two techniques, Samatho and Vipassana. Vipassana exceeds Samatho. Vipassana is the key to purify our distorted cognitive process. Vipassana is the key to eradicate our past corrupted experiences called asava. The Buddha proclaimed that ragakkayo, dosakkayo, mohakkayo, nibbana. Nibbana. Free from raga bondage, free from dosa bondage, and free from moha bondage. In Magadhi, it is called Panya Vimutti, the absolute liberation based on pure cognition. Panya Vimutti contains permanent purification of our cognitive sphere, as well as permanent purification of our emotional sphere. In Magadhi called Akuppa Chetu Vimutti. What is Vipassana? The Buddha proclaimed that Anicca Anupassanattena Vipassana, Dukkha Anupassanattena Vipassana, Anatta Anupassanattena Vipassana. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. In Magadhi called Tilakkana, the three characteristics of reality. The application of Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta against the arising of moha is Vipassana. The application of anicca, dukkha, anatta against the arising of moha is called amoha. The prefix a denotes the abandonment. Amoha, the abandonment of the arising of moha. What is the samatho introduced by the Buddha? The application of loving kindness in Magadhi called metta against the arising of dosa is called adosa, the abandonment of the arising of dosa. In similar manner, the application of asubha. A means the abandonment, subha means attractive nature or pleasing nature. Then the application of asubha against the arising of raga is called araga, the abandonment of the arising of raga. So, araga, adosa, amoha, or in general known as alobha, adosa, amoha, they are called the root of purity. In Magadhi called kusala moolam, the root of wholesome. As well as there is the root of impurity in our mind, there is root of purity too. Therefore, we must practice and develop wholesome rooted intentions because they are useful to counter the arising of three sun causes, raga, dosa, and moha. Akusala moolam, the root of impurity, leads all unwholesome actions. In similar manner, araga, adosa, amoha, the root of purity, the root of wholesome, leads to wholesome. The liberation from 10 unwholesome actions results in wholesome. So, the path for liberation from raga, dosa, moha is based on araga, adosa, amoha. Seriously, the path for liberation from raga, dosa, moha is based on samatha and vipassana introduced by the Buddha. That's why the Buddha proclaimed that kalena dhamma savanan, kalena dhamma sakacca, kalena samatha, kalena vipassana. Listening to Dhamma for eradication of mental defilements. Discuss the Dhamma for eradication of mental defilements. Practice samatha and vipassana for eradication of mental defilements. Therefore, Buddha proclaimed 4 meditative methods to attain arahanthood. There's a sutta in Anguttara Nikaya called Arahantapatti Suttan. In this sutta, Buddha proclaimed 4 meditative techniques, practically 4 meditative methods to attain arahanthood. 3 of them are based on samatha and vipassana. The 4th one is called Dhamma Uddacca Vighahitang Manasam. It is an extraordinary method to purify our distorted cognitive process in a very short period of time, like few minutes or few hours. But only a few extraordinary persons could practice it. Therefore, let's have a look at other 3 methods based on samatha and vipassana. The first method is called samatha pubbanggaman vipassana. Samatha forerunner followed by vipassana. The second method, vipassana pubbanggaman samathan. Vipassana forerunner followed by samatha. The third method, samatha vipassanan yuganadhan. Samatha in tandem with vipassana. It is called yuganad bhavana. All right. Let's talk about samatha and vipassana, the path for liberation from raga, dosa, moha in details in our future lessons. So now we have got a better idea about Ceto Vimutti, provisional emptiness of the emotional sphere, and Panya Vimutti, the absolute liberation based on pure cognition. The absolute liberation based on pure cognition, called Panya Vimutti, contains permanent purification of our cognitive sphere and permanent purification of our emotional sphere. All right, let's continue our discussion in our next lesson. Supatveva everyone.